Alright, welcome everybody to a new game that we're going to be doing on the channel. This is Abiotic Factor, and it has quickly skyrocketed to one of my favorite games. I put 100 hours into it pretty quickly after launch, and then never touched it again. Bunch of updates later, and it is now technically a complete experience, although they are still adding things to it, which I can respect. So, we are on a fresh save. And we're in the facility. So, this game is interesting because instead of your classic exploration-based games like you would have, where you just run through and brute force everything, you are allowed to think about things, which I'm not very good at, but we will figure it out. Hello, Dr. Thule.
Ah, you're stuck here too, eh? I came down from the middle for a coffee. Now I'm locked in here for God.
So this is very, very Half-Life graphics and speech pattern.
Again. Looks like Jaeger's locked out. Typical.
Yeah, Jaeger's over there through that door, but don't get attached to him.
What's happened, but take your time. He's insufferable.
Alright, so, we have a few things to note. So, I have already played this game. I have not played it to complete, I have not beaten the game yet. So, me and a friend are playing through, and it's going fairly slow, but, we are playing it. So, our starting job, we started with some work gloves that gives us 1 armor, and our only weapon of note until we can get a knife is going to be the throw net. So we can throw this at smaller critters, and that will open them up to us stomping on them, until we can get an actual weapon. So, I did change a few of the world options, specifically, food does not spoil, so I hate trying to deal with food rotting. Items are going to have more durability is the other one. So the repair system, I understand it's balanced, but it's annoying. So I didn't just turn it off outright, but I certainly did turn it down. So we have a few things that we need to note here. So we have 4 primary needs. There are others later on where you can like go into areas where temperature's bad and you can get injured, as you can see here. And you can see the health, and then each body part, so head, chest, arms, and legs, they each have their own health bar. And you take more damage the more damaged you are in the limbs. So, you need food, you need water or similar fluids, you can have soda, coffee, any of that. You have to use the toilet or you will crap yourself and you will have a disgusting, nasty little stink cloud. And then finally, you need to sleep. So, they will go down over time. There are ways that you can kind of... Ooh, chef hat. So there are ways that you can kind of optimize doing that. We're not gonna want to trash paper scrap from the primary thing of that's a way to make ammo later for one of the guns. Ooh. But we'll leave it around so that we are able to come back. So nothing in this little beginner area. First aid kit though. Ooh. So, we are going to want a splint. We're going to want iodine tablets. Until we're able to manage some of our things later. And I believe this is locked. Yes, okay. So, we're going to take the long way around. This is going to be locked until, like, near the end of the game. But, we can come back to this area that we are in. And we can do quite a few things here. So there's a couple little bits and bobs that we can come back for. Tech scrap is important. Additionally, you're able to dismantle these vents and it gives you metal scraps. So we're gonna want to just try to pack rat as much stuff as possible and for the most part, it'll all be useful at one point or another. So even some of the stuff that does not seem outright useful, we're gonna probably need in great quantities later. So we'll head through here, making sure to grab as much cloth and duct tape. So we can carry quite a bit. We can carry quite a bit of stuff. Some of the stuff gets quite heavy later, like if you go for anvils and stuff. And that's the way we're supposed to go. But I believe there's a toolbox this way. If I wasn't mistaken, you can also look back out into the cafeteria. Oh, no. So we have to come back here at night and the blades will have stopped. So there's a time system. So, day-night cycle, all the power turns off at night, stronger enemies will roam around, and all the power turns off, meaning that you can't use any of the doohickeys that require power. So we're just gonna brute force him. This is called a carbuncle. And what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna collect the raw carbuncle, which is radioactive. And we're immediately going to stash it in a toolbox up ahead. So this is called a pest. You can throw a net on it and then stomp on it. And it turns into something called bioscrap. We can get more metal here. But we're going to want to get this carbuncle out of my inventory because I am not able to handle much in terms of radiation. So here's our screwdriver, some more duct tape, and we'll put the carbuncle in there for now. So radioactivity, or radiation, is... Hey, it's Dr. Thule. Wait. Hi, Dr. Thule. Okay. So yeah, radiation is shown with the white crackles on your screen. There is a setting to make radiation invisible, meaning that you need a Geiger counter to tell when radiation is getting too bad. But for the most part, it won't do anything for a while, but if you're constantly introduced to it, or if you're constantly affected by radiation, you'll begin to get sick. And that'll mess with you in a couple ways. But it's telling us that we should get some of these metal pipes, and I am a-okay with that. And that learns us how to make something called a boom bait and a vacuum. So vacuums are very important, but we'll make that once we get to the location of our first base. And a lot of people like to make a forever base. So they like to make a base where they're going to be set up forever. And while I think that is a good idea and I have a primary base, there are so many cool areas in this game that I like to make bases all over the facility. I like to try to do one in each sector, omitting some of the less desirable ones. Oh. So our only way to deal with pests is with nets, so we want to keep a decent supply on us. We're going to get a knife soon, and we can also use something called a desk leg, which most of you probably know what a desk leg is. But we definitely want to go ahead and get the crafting bench. So we need a power supply unit, I believe a duct tape, and it might be metal pipe. Yeah. So this is gonna let us craft anything that we need a table for. So when you think of a hypothesis of a new crafting recipe, you kind of get this little mini game where you're able to discover a new thing. So a chef's counter allows us to make more complex food, and then the other side allows you to cut up fish. We will do fishing for some of this stuff. So I believe I need case fan, power supply unit, circuit board, tech scrap to make an energy brick. So, purpose-made power housing used for crafting electronics that require power. We need it for batteries. We need it for to get out of this main area, this little spot. And to make a circuit board, we need tech scrap, I believe. We need quite a bit of tech scrap. And then we can also make garden plots. Garden plots are going to come at a later date, but for the most part, I like to save gardening later until we get a way to more easily handle water purification, because you need to water these things. And then healing syringe, I believe, is bioscrap, antiverse, wheat test tube. And so we can find healing syringes, and it gives us health over time, so it repairs what we've got. So pressure gauge, energy brick, raw carbuncle, and metal pipe. That's going to make the vacuum. So it's a powered vacuum. You have to charge it. That's one of the things that we want the carbuncle for. The other is the carbuncle crown and the carbuncle balloon. So we're going to need to kill a few of those little things that we can stomp on. So I got everything from this area, and we can start making our way through. I'm going to craft another set of nets. We can use a net for the enemy at the end of this area as well. But there will be a few more pests that we have to take care of. And this is a game that it doesn't hold your hand, but it shows you. So it's a good idea to check your needs regularly. So we're getting closer to... I thought there was a pest in here somewhere. There might be... No, there's nothing up here. Well, we can get into the vents. But we were already in the vents. But we can get into that vent. So if you fall too far, you will break your legs as well. That's another very, very unfortunate part of the game. So, email terminal, you can check these, and they will give you random little bits and pieces. So we learned how to make a shiv by just looking at a knife. So by discovering things, we learned how to make things. So this only does 2 damage, and it's pretty much pens and duct tape. Very low durability, very low damage. And then we also have a pork chop. Ooh. So bioscrap gets harder to, or it gets more annoying to make the further into the game you get. But I did just get a chef's apron, which is kind of... I'm about to get attacked. Okay. And that would be my first knife. So we're going to go ahead and just eat the pork chop. So, gave us a little bit of hunger. So, a whole lot of cloth scrap. Cloth scrap weighs basically nothing, and it's useful throughout the game. So, it's pretty good. I have a very particular way I like my hotbar as well. So, there is a pest in here. So,
it's absolutely Siberian.
I am well aware of that, my good sir. Alright, so that was our first little nice food. So this is ice cream. Ice cream makes you more resilient against heat. So in hot places, you want to have ice cream. There will be a few places later where we're going to need that. Also, we have a lot of metal pipes, but we are going to actually wait to use those because we want to hang on to them. I'm going to take the frying pan as well. So we can make a makeshift frying pan later, and we're beginning to lose out on... we're beginning to fall off in terms of our inventory space. So the weight is fine, but the actual space is not. Frying pans do stack, which is good. I actually did not know if that was the case. I'm only going to take 2, because when you make a makeshift stove... Okay, that was what we needed for the carbuncle crown. So... this should be raw carbuncle, plastic scrap, duct tape. And I believe we do need a crafting... No, I guess we don't. So now comes the annoying part of we're going to head back to the vent where we stashed our carbuncle. And we're going to grab that raw carbuncle and just quickly make a crown. So I don't know why picking up a cafeteria... I don't know why picking up a cafeteria tray was like, yes, I can make a crown out of this creature that I've killed. But I'm not going to ask questions. I only have 2 PhDs, so... you know. So, we do have a skill later in the game. Is this carbuncle? This is carbuncle. Okay. I need 2 plastic scrap, but I want to at least get this closer to the cafeteria where we're going to set up our first little crafting bench area and craft, so I don't have to run all the way back further afterwards. And the radiation is not exactly... okay. I thought I was about to break my leg. So I'm actually going to go ahead and pop a thing of iodine since I'm carrying that around. So that halves my radiation. Pop that up. Drink some water. I just gotta make sure that I'm taking care of myself. And that includes, like, all of my medicine types. So having splints on me is usually good. I gotta go around for that. I'm just making sure I've checked out everything thoroughly. That includes getting duct tape. Okay.
Hello? Over
So,
here.
I hear you. So I don't have any plastic scrap yet. That's a phenomenal find. Water bottle this early is a phenomenal find. So I can fill this up at any sinks and stuff. Yes, I am going to leave you standing there for a minute because I need to search. Little freak. Alright. So, we've unlocked the door on this side. There are also vending machines that we can use, and I will go ahead and grab...
Someone needs to sort this.
Buddy.
You're new.
Yes, I am new.
Looks like that little pest damaged.
I'm having a
the
chalky
hoses.
bar.
Can you get someone to fix it? But hurry, would you? I'm not enjoying standing around out here. It was hours last time.
This feller needs to shut his mouth, but he's getting what's coming to him. Alright. So, plastic scrap would be great. The moment I get a hammer, I can rip apart some of these potted plants to get plastic scrap. But, okay. So, there are a few little cupboards, so something to note. Oh yeah, I can look around in here. Okay, hoses are good. Tech scrap's always nice. I can buy coffee if I have $1, which I have $4, but I don't need a coffee yet. So I'm gonna fill up my water bottle. We'll need a few sinks to be able to figure it out. So I'm gonna want to bring most of this with me, so I can kind of use this as a... Wait, no. Take the carbuncle out. Delete the items in the trash. Now I can use this to just kind of store my stuff. So I have a few extra inventory slots. So, tech scrap, desk leg, and then this is where I can sleep. So this teaches us how to make a makeshift bed. So you have to play a little minigame where you do like a Flappy Bird-esque jumping puzzle to get over the little pests, and that keeps you asleep. You can also sleep to pass time. So once we leave this tutorial area, it will go, and time will begin moving. And so, we need to make a power brick. We need to make one of these. And since we have all of the stuff for it, we can actually make two, since we got a little bit extra. And then we need a long office couch. I think we just need wood and then cloth scrap to make a makeshift bed. And then this is very important. This is just wood and plastic to make storage crates. We're going to want a bunch of those for the base. And then plastic shield. I don't really use shields too often. I don't really have an interest in them. I will get cafeteria trays because they can be scrapped into plastic. And I believe there was a sink in one of these bathrooms. Oh my. Pest City in here. Alright. So we've leveled up a skill. We have a few skills to start with. So you have milestones here. So like throwing reaches throwing 2. And you can do underhand tosses if you don't want to like huck something at somebody. Where is it? Yeah, the throwing 20 was the one that me and my friends were grinding towards on our file. And it's thrown items and weapons split into 2 additional projectiles, so you have like multi-throw. And for some of the later game ones, like the acid darts and stuff, you can do quite a bit. So this is how much of the area we know of so far. And then we have our little compendium here. Chemistry is going to be important later. So I can cut these fellas up. I can cut the pests up. But the thing is... Oh, dang, I see the weapon in the reflection. That's kind of trippy. Yeah, so I can... what do you call it? Oh, yeah. Do you have different dialogue if I talk to you?
If Jaeger thinks I'm crawling through the vents to let him in,
Okay, okay, I get it.
another thing.
Sit down, think about it. Alright, so, we need to make this. So we need 2 of our pipes out of this trash can. We'll just eat the ice cream. And we have the desk leg. I don't even think we need the desk leg. I think the desk leg is primarily for... what do you call it? It's a weapon. You do use it for a few things. And then we have the screwdriver that we got earlier, so... we can go ahead and put this thing together. So one of the big things is you can only use these during the day if you're not utilizing a battery. So a battery allows you to cut into the nighttime energy, or you can do traps and stuff remotely. So, makeshift battery. Makeshift backpack does interest me, and this is cloth scrap metal pipe. So let me yoink. I think we needed 2. No, we only needed 1. So, this will give us a tiny, tiny bit more inventory. So we can go ahead and equip this, and that's up top here. So it gives us 10% weight reduction for everything we're carrying, and it gives us an extra 3 spots to go ahead and dump our stuff into. So we are going to be bringing the crafting bench with us because there's not really a reason that we would make more. And then for a repair and salvage station, it's a little bit tougher because we need an anvil, which we can come back to this area at night, which I'm going to, and that's the easiest way to get it. Anvils are also just extremely heavy and difficult to work with. And boom bait is pretty good. I'm going to use a knife. But we also need plastic scrap, which dictates that I would need a hammer, which we get like as soon as we leave the area. But we have to fight something called a peccary right now once we open this. So we learned makeshift frying pan. We need an energy brick.
Hurry!
Chill out. We can get a little bit more materials here. Okay. Yeah, the ability... Okay, so the last big hurdle is, can I get this? Oh my goodness! Okay, so that is really heavy, but that means that we have a bet... Buddy, calm down. Alright, now we have to fight... Yeah, we have to fight something called a peccary. It has a charge attack. The biggest thing is that these things can make you bleed. So, yeah, these can have peccary skulls, which unlock a few good little bits. Alright, so I'll swap that for that, and then this for that, and this for that. So the biggest thing right now is that I'm going to leave my hose, because I do want it. I'm going to leave my hose here. Or actually, I can leave a couple of my pipes, since I already have a stack of pipes, just in case anything happens. So, now, time should progress forward. So let's go back and talk to Thule, see if he has something. And we are over-encumbered, so we need to be careful.
Oh my god, what happened to Jaeger? He didn't deserve that.
I mean, not really.
Not really. I'm going to wait here. It's not safe.
I mean, he just got killed out of thin air. I don't know why he thinks... Okay, so that was a peccary. That was...
Enhanced security protocols are now in effect.
You do not know me, but I can know you.
Look, I don't know what's going on.
So this guy has a million trillion cans of peas and ammunition and stuff. This is our first trader.
A good
we additionally can charge our stuff.
Voice says, get out, I do what she says. Elevators are dead, so head for the main tunnel in manufacturing on level 2.
So that's our first primary overarching quest.
But me, I'm staying right here.
So we're able to trade with him now. So we have to give him something in exchange for canned peas, and we can give him that peccary skull for an employee locator, which I believe just shows us where people are, like that we can talk to. So, we got a hammer. We got a hammer. We need to go set up our little spot, because we want a spot. So this, and I believe cloth and duct tape? No? Giga glue and book? Do we also need a... Do we actually need a skull? No. Peccary helmet. That would be better than our chef helmet. That's easy enough to make. We can go back for our thing. In the meantime, though, hammer is extremely nice to have because now we can rip apart furniture to get building materials. So if we come up here to the second story, we'll go in here and clear out stuff and get loot. But we want to go the other way and get to where we're going first. So, got a public terminal. Emails. This damn facility. Yeah, so now it's 7:50 a.m. So, I believe it's 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. every night. The power will go out. And while the power's out, we're not able to use any... Yeah.
I thought I was there, but I'm still
Scary.
here. Am I?
Alright, so this is our home, the data farm.
But she's there?
Yeah, I get it. Alright, so. This is our primary issue that we run into each night, so we're allowed to just be down here. There are a few things that are going to trip us up. There is a peccary that spawns down here, and there are several pests. And so we can make do. So up here is the place that I have found is the best base location for like my forever base. So there's probably a better option, but this is what I have went with time and time again. This is the one. So I can hear the peccary moving around down there. But we were lucky enough that we got a 3-part couch immediately. So it had like over a 1 in 3 chance to just break immediately when we tried to pick it up. But now, well, actually, how hard would it be to just make it into a bed? Okay. Because I can set a spawn point if I have like a bed. Because there's a couch down there that would break down into wood. I just need 4 wood planks. The chef's counter can come way later. I just kind of need to stay away from... Hi, buddy. Okay. Did not mean to bust up the office chair. I'm actually going to take this with me if I could, but I can't. Alright, so that was a plastic scrap. That is good. Desk lamps, I'm going to scrounge around for every single desk lamp I can get my hands on. But the most important piece right now... I can actually drop the hose. I need to... Okay, makeshift chest plate is whatever. Okay, 74% chance. It broke. So that just gives me the scrap. So, after I empty each of these out, there's a chance that it'll break, but it gives me construction experience regardless. And the smaller... Okay. I want one of the One Piece. Haha, One Piece. I want one of the One Piece, Dealy Bops. So, eventually, one of these should drop as a piece. It has not happened yet. And we can loot all this stuff later, but we really just want somewhere to store our things. So that's our carbuncle balloon. That's very nice. So now that I'm construction level 5, maybe it would be easier for me to obtain. So I got like a 4% more. Oh, I can just hit G. Okay. At long last, at 10 a.m., I managed to get a filing cabinet. So we're going to focus on upping our construction ability a few levels before we attempt to do... Okay. This is risky because if we fall, we shatter our legs and we'd probably fall right onto the peccary. Alright. But over here is kind of where I make my storage area. And being over-encumbered and walking around levels our strength. There is also just, like, using heavy armor will increase our strength. So later on, once I can make cubicle pieces, I like to go around the side and make walls to this spot. But for right now, we're really just trying to dump our stuff off before we run off. And the cool thing is that since we have this down, we're able to... Oh, is it too far? I think it's too far. I mean, we can... Yeah, we can do it. Okay, there's the peccary down there, so it's nice to have visuals on it. There are a few enemies that are able to come up here, mostly during invasions, but we'll handle that when it gets here. So we should... Oh, wait, no, I think we just don't have the thing active that lets us craft using... Yeah, item transporter. So we would need 2 XOR hearts and an energy brick. So for the time being, we need each individual material. But also, we do want the carbuncle balloon because we have most of the stuff other than a little bit of carbuncle. I think there's at least 1 carbuncle in here with us, but it reduces your inventory weight, meaning we would be able to carry like multiple what do you call it? We would be able to carry multiple... Pipe Club's really good early. I have my eyes on something else, however. Multiple filing cabinets. I don't know why I couldn't think of the... thing. Makeshift chestplate. Weight capacity. It's super decent. It's just not, like... not revolutionary or anything. Alright. We can get wood planks from these boxes, so I'm going to go ahead and try to gather some of these up. Risky jump, but I'm going to do it. Okay. I can leave that there. I'm not interested in cooking these little guys until I have access to a makeshift, what do you call it? Place to cook, like a stove. But I am interested in all these boxes that the game will give me, of which there are many. So it's important. You may have noticed, like, man, you're being a hoarder right now. You're just grabbing everything, and it's because everything has a use. And for many of our materials, there's like easy ways to get renewable. You can trade with people, that kind of stuff. For some resources, however... Okay, there we go. get some more bio scrap. And I'll leave those two makeshift, or these two items here, in case I need to come back. And that leads down into where, near the pool area. Okay. This, yeah. So there's a peccary fairly nearby that roams. Hop down here and get some oil. The Choppinator and a platform cart. Platform cart is very nice for the early game. I'm not ready to go in there quite yet. I want to get my stuff together in the data farm before we go running. There's also a zip line that we can go across, which leads us over there, and we can break our way into the home gym. But again, I'm not really looking for that yet. So we are about 36 minutes into the episode. We're going to end it here in a moment. I want to go down there and deal with that peccary, because once we deal with the peccary, we won't have to worry about it for about an in-game week, like 7 days. It might be sooner. But I am going to want to go back through that beginning area and just go ahead and grab most of the stuff that we missed. There's also a little area down here that I want to grab a lamp, because the lamp can be upgraded into a really good weapon that I'm going to use for most of the early game. But we're safe from robots and peccaries and all that stuff because we use a lift to get up into our house. And then the other thing, I thought I saw one sitting around here. Go ahead and get a little more plastic scrap breaking up an office plant. Okay. Grab some pens. Grab a desk phone. We want to just get everything so that early game we have access to the most stuff possible. Okay. So I believe those actually respawn, weirdly enough. The what do you call it? Why did I blank? The printers. There's also larger printers that drop more stuff. But we just want a whole lot of plastic scrap because we can use that for a variety of things. I want as many of the little desk lamps as I can get my hands on. We can also make a wall torch, but you have to power it, I believe. Okay. Walkie-talkie is not going to be useful for us either. Walkie-talkies are for... Okay, we gotta come back for that. Yeah, walkie-talkies are for multiplayer if you want to talk to other people in your game, like long range. So I need to get one small, like small thing, and it's because before I can make a ramp... Ooh, also Peccary Club might be the move? I think it's with a desk phone. Yeah, okay. So that's 40 damage, but it's really heavy, and we wouldn't be able to use it correctly because our strength is so low. Medium sign. Signs are, again, for bases, or if you want to, like, designate stuff. The cart is actually pretty sick, and it just allows you to load stuff onto it for 0 weight and carry it around. So glass and wood can make a test tube. We're gonna want to find a test tube. I don't really want to make one. And then also, the Choppinator is not something that I use very often. It is a pretty interesting thing. It spins, you power it, and it spins really fast and just cuts up anything in the area. You can use it to tear up those robots that come out at night, but I generally just don't, because I don't care enough about them. When it's time to kill them, I simply kill them. So, yeah, there's a couple things in our inventory that aren't going to fit. But while we have the daylight, Because, like, around when it gets to night is when I'm going to end the episode, and then the beginning of next episode can be, like, our nighttime activities, and we're going to go try to get an anvil. A stapler is actually a phenomenal find early. Staplers are something that we are going to have need of for most of the game. Like, even late game, I'm going to be low on staplers. So there is the plug strip and the portable stove, both of which are necessities. Shock trap is also what I generally use to take care of the robots, because they're weaker to that. Okay, I also got an office chair for up there. So I'm by no means a professional. I guess now's as good a time as any to deal with the peccary. I'm gonna go ahead and just brute force it, because we're gonna rest after this anyways. We're gonna want to come back for these power supplies, because I don't want anything to despawn. But the good thing is, since we're at home, we have options. We do really want to go for a small filing cabinet. I don't know if I remembered to say the reason, but the reason is so that so we can store all the same type. There we go. So we're gonna need another filing cabinet. So I don't think I can put this on the table. Yeah, I can put it on top of this though. And that's going to kind of illuminate our storage area once we set that up. And then the other one will be near our bed once we set up a bed. Because it gets pitch black in here. And until I can get a headlamp, I don't have like a portable source of light that is reliable. Okay. Okay. I was fine whether it turned into itself or... Oh, there's a carbuncle. So I need to remember where I put the carbuncle as well. I think it's still in that trash can. This is what I was looking for earlier, actually. So a water cooler is primo because you can refill it once you have purified water. So what we can do is we can make a portable stove, which is one of the things that we learned how to make. We can make a pot, or like find a pot, which is the easier of the two. I think there's one down in the kitchen. And then we have a water cooler here that we can deposit that into. So for right now, we don't have a good place to store radiation. We don't have any boxes or anything that can deal with that. And so, rather than that, also, office chair has a very specific purpose. I'm sorry I'm so scatterbrained. I'm just trying to explain every little thing, because this is like my special interest game. Yeah, the office chair is cool, because if I ever break my leg and I need to get around my base to craft, I'll heal faster if I'm in the chair, but I can wheel myself around. So yeah, in here, there is a pot. There's also the slushy machine, which you can buy a slushy for $1. And learns how to make a slushy bomb. So yeah, I mean, this gives us brain freeze, it makes us colder, but this is a renewable source of heat reduction. So I can't move for a second because I'm frozen, and now I'm good. So we'll come down here and loot all of this a little later. There's a few things of food in the fridge. But mostly what we came down here for is this. So, that lets us make something called the makeshift spear, which, admittedly, is my weapon for most of the beginning part of the game. There is also the makeshift crossbow, which is actually quite alluring to me. And so, yeah, I believe it uses either pens or bolts. You can make bolts for it. Alright, there's the makeshift spear. Makeshift spear allows me to cut up enemies into little bits and bobs. I don't need the heater yet. The heater is for cold worlds if you do not have the weathered perk. Oh yeah, here they are. Makeshift bolt. So with pens and metal scrap, you can make bolts for the crossbow. I probably will make one of those. Portable stove as well. I don't... Sorry, I thought I heard something. I'm glad the stove's not with an anvil. I thought it was for a second, and I was like, oh no. And it's kind of just trial and error. We can craft all this stuff. We need, for the shock trap, I believe we need energy brick, stapler, coil? So yeah, shock traps recharge over time, so all you have to do is kite the, Wait, were those different bolts? No, throwing darts. So throwing darts break when you throw them, but they're cheap and they do damage. But, yeah, I believe there is a... It's a pest. There's a backpack sitting here. So 18 capacity as opposed to 15. And this gives a little bit more weight reduction. So now we have the full second row. So, for time being, I like to not waste at all, so I just like to leave my things in trash cans and stuff if I'm not going to be bringing them along. Hydrochloric acid and anethiol are both later game. So getting them now means that I've touched it, so I know about it. Later, once we get the other pieces of a crafting recipe, I've already touched these, meaning I know what they do. So before we craft our spear, we have to repair the knife, which means we need duct tape. And... there we go. And then for the actual makeshift spear, we just need 4 of our duct tape. Duct tape is a precious resource. It's available pretty abundantly. I've never had a problem with duct tape. You can also craft it. But we now have the makeshift spear. We are also able to throw the spear, which I do not recommend doing, because then you have to go pick it up, kind of like in Valheim. But... yeah, it is currently 6 p.m., so we're getting close to the end of night festivities. So this is the area that I want to pop into, because there's a few things in here. And I did see the water cooler that I just passed. I just did not comment on it. Oh. Hey, buddy. Alright. Another desk lamp. Hello? So yeah, we just one-shot that thing. Alright. Small filing cabinet. I just consume these little foods as I go. Most of the time, I get my... Yes! Okay. That's an easier way to get back into the base. That's a really weird carbuncle spawn location. And you can also... you can cook and eat the carbuncle. It's not great. In early game, we have access to... like chips and soda and stuff, so long as we have the money. Money can also drop off of human enemies later in the game, making it semi-renewable. There's also a few places in the first little area we go to that you can get it. But, the toilet situation is a little bit more touch and go for a while. It's going to be a little while before we're able to, fix that. Oh my. So, for time being... I like to put a lamp here, just to illuminate where I have to do the jump until I can get ramps to put there. But the small filing cabinet is not for storage because it's inefficient. It's actually to put right here. Alright. And now we have a step that we don't have to do the crouch catch glitch. So now we're going to want to go ahead and make ourselves a bed, which is with 6 cloth scrap. Cloth scrap is not particularly hard to get once we get a salvage table, because all the clothes we bring back we can just turn into that. So, I like to make a cozy little bed area, but we can rearrange later. I'm actually going to rotate it like that. Pleasant. Okay. Oh, it says pleasant, too. And then right on the headboard, boom. So now we have a cozy little spot. So let's go grab like 1 or 2 more of the large filing cabinets and just bring them up here for storage. And then what we can do is just open a container when we get back from looting. And... come on. Nope. Yeah, we can pick up... we need to find, yeah, all these power supplies and case fans that we did not pick up last time. This is big. Base decoration. Drop that. Alright. And I think that'll just about be the end of the episode. I'm gonna put this big fan down next to the crafting table, and that'll just kind of be vibes. So yeah, fan, or, lamps, did I say fan? Lamps do not take, power, so they can stay on indefinitely. Some of the wall torches and stuff that provide, like, an ample amount of light do, though. So we can come in here, hit Q, it dumps all the stuff, hit this, and now we can start a new chest of supplies that we don't want to carry on us at all times. That being said, we're going to need to find an XOR to be able to make it so we can craft with the stuff, but that is going to be the end of the first episode. So, thank you all so much for watching. If you have tips and tricks, I'm always happy to hear them. I've played this game for quite a while. However, I would not consider myself a master by any means, so feel free to drop any spoiler-free hints and tricks that you have learned in the comments below. And other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next episode.